Hello, everybody. J-Man here, and we are back again on our regular night Tuesday. I thought it was going to be Wednesday, but we switched it back to Tuesday. Then I switched it back. Then I switched it back. So everyone's confused. So we'll have no views on this video, but that's okay. Um, we are doing our weekly wrestling talk. I just finished recording a session with ETEP. ETEP's channel is the place to be reviews. His channel link is in the description of this video. Plus, I've added it to all my other videos. I should have it in there. I may make sure. I will double check that because I'm not sure if it is in this one, but I will make sure it is a link. So we just talked about all the Friday 13th movies and we ranked them all. So that was a hell of a lot of fun. It was a lot longer than we planned it to be, but that's okay because we love talking Friday 13th. So check that out on his channel. I will put a link. I did not have the link for some reason is not in this video. I don't know why, but I'm going to add his link. Okay. What else is going on? This Friday, we're finally coming back with versus, and that's going to be the Punisher versus Punisher Warzone. So it'll be the Thomas Jane Punisher, where Thomas Jane decided to stab Kevin Nash with a real knife in his chest, and they kept that in the movie, but I don't think anything happened with that, anyways. And versus the Punisher Warzone with Ray Stevenson as Punisher and Jigsaw. So we're going to versus those two movies. That'll be a lot of fun. A week from today, we'll be back talking more wrestling. I'm going to be doing another versus next Friday, I think, and that's going to be Midsommar versus Hereditary. I've got Nate from Give Me Back My Horror Movies coming on, and I think Steve and Sean are coming on. I'm not sure. We'll double check. So that's still up in the air. It might not exactly happen. We'll see how it goes. But this Saturday, we also might have a stream this Saturday with doing some tier ranking. I'm just waiting for Chris, the comic vet, to get back to me to see if that's okay. And we're trying to coordinate with Professor Bill from Comic Book University and 1407 Greymalkin, who hasn't been on in a long time. So we might get everybody back and have a star-studded cast of characters to do that. But okay. All that said, let's bring in my co-host. Hello.
Hello.
All right, let me put the poll up here, the official poll for today, which is going to be: Did you or was Raw 30th any good? Yes or no? Let's see what everyone says. Ask the community. All right. So on this tonight's segment, we're going to cover NXT. We're going to cover last week's NXT. That's my Punisher notes. It's getting so crazy. I have too many things going on. I have so many notes going on. I don't know what the hell where I'm at. So we're going to do NXT, and then we're going to do SmackDown last night's Raw, which was the 30th anniversary of Raw, which is kind of crazy, actually. Which we'll get to. All right, NXT, Tiffany Stratton dressing room thing with Indy Hartwell. The clothes in the garbage bag and all.
I just like how
I thought that was hilarious.
I just like how Indy Hartwell had a women's locker room thing just handy,
here it is.
Stick up there.
It's like
I like
okay.
And she was so happy doing it. She's like, oh, it's not yours, it's ours. Boom.
Boom.
I'm like, I love Indy Hartwell.
Yeah. She is funny. We had Toxic Attraction and saying, we told you so, that whole thing.
Yeah, that whole thing where they're like teasing again, like Gigi Dolan is not coming across as the smartest character because she's like, JC actually attacked me. And JC's like, oh, it's fine. And Gigi's like, oh, it's fine. I'm like, really?
So are they going to split them up or are they going to do Tiffany as the leader? That's really the only option.
I don't see them splitting up. I think they'll do Tiffany as the leader. I think they'll tease a splitting up after they lose to Roxanne Perez at Vengeance Day or whatever the next pay-per-view is called. And then the NXT after will be like, Toxic Attraction announces a split up and they're about to tearfully split up forever. And then Tiffany Stratton will come out and say, you're too good to be splitting up. You need a leader. I'll be your leader. And they'll say, okay. Literally like that.
They'll all remove their clothes. That probably won't happen. It It would be if I was booking it. No, I'm just joking. I
If
don't
I
like
was booking it, well,
I didn't like that stuff in the
the
other
Attitude Era. Right.
yeah. So Valkyrie comes out, Roxanne comes out. Okay, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's funny. Did you think Roxanne came out in her socks because she had these pink like slippers on? I thought they were her socks. Like, why is she running out in her
Put
socks?
some wrestling gear on, woman. What are you
I'm like,
doing?
listen, if Charlotte Flair can be wearing wrestling gear while wandering around the back just to be conveniently jumped by Sonya Deville, then you could put on some damn boots to run to the ring to save Lyra Valkyrie.
It's like, yeah, like put some goddamn boots on.
It's like
Garbage day!
Huh?
No!
It's like, I don't want to see you in your slippers.
Oh,
I'm in my slippers watching this. Like, go away.
Hey, Arkham, how's it going? Oh my god, it's so funny. All right, we had Alba Fire versus Sol Ruka.
Alba Fire heel tease? I don't know.
I don't know
Again,
because they were shaking hands and then and Alba went crazy and Isla Dawn was there and Sol Ruka won. So I was like, what the shit?
yeah, I'm not a big fan of Isla Dawn shows up in the balcony and
Right.
Alba Fire loses her mind. I mean, she could have just bought a ticket. What if she showed up in like the fourth row eating popcorn? Would she have like left the ring? Like, I don't. Again, without an attack, it's silly to me.
I don't like that either.
And literally, she was like losing it. She's grabbing the ropes and it's like that. Well, how to lose a match in 5 seconds is you just stare at someone who can't possibly attack you and then turn around and get destroyed.
Yeah.
Bad.
That was weird.
I hate that.
Then we had, so she went crazy. She's talking to the tag champs, so I'll never get their names. And then Fallon was saying that she's going to team up with Kiana James.
Finally.
Which we knew that was going to happen, and we'll see where that goes. And we had your favorite Thea Hale.
Oh, man.
Val Forsey, or what? Her name is the weirdest name ever.
Valentina Feroz.
For Oz. It's like, okay. Like, I'll just call her Val.
Yep.
Thea Hale. Going to be
Thea
sold
Hale.
off. We don't know what's going on with that.
There's rumors about that, Arkham.
As long as, like, right now we need to have Triple H in charge of everything, or whoever's in charge of the Sami Zayn angle, and because that Sami Zayn angle is like a movie. Like, I'm so invested. I'm literally invested. Like, my wife is talking, like, can you hold on a second? I'm watching Sami Zayn. It's like, like, I'm like, because
I'm professing my eternal love to you. It's like,
hold on a second. No, because she knows when the women are wrestling that I have to pay attention, right? And then when the women aren't on the screen, then I'm not really, I'm watching, but not like super engaged. But then she's like, "Oh, I'm reading this new manga." I'm like, "Can you hold on a second? I'm kind of pumped up for this storyline right now." And Dominic Mysterio, but so I don't know what's going on with that stuff. But so we had Thea Hale versus Val. Electra Lopez came out to distract her. Thea won, which your girl won. I was so happy.
Well, first of all, I love that she was all pumped up, and there was all this like. I love Chase U. Like, I love these guys in their college uniform, and there's big tension between the professor of Chase U and like one of his top students, I guess. And then Thea goes out. Electro shows up with her ample assets, and she's staying there. And like the Chase Hale guys are finally like, "Hey, she's standing here. Maybe we should do something about it." She literally walks away and hands up. First of all, those were the shiniest brass knuckles I've ever seen. I'm like, someone shined those up before she threw it into the ring.
Turn them sideways. No.
Oh, I tell you, I love brass knuckles, as you know. And then Valentina threw them at the ref. I'm like, if the ref puts those on in Dexter, I will literally laugh for ages. But he did not.
No.
And Thea won, and I was very happy for her. I was hoping they would give her a diploma. Actually, when she won, saying you graduated, you won.
That'd be awesome.
But they were carrying her around on their shoulders. I love these guys, man. It's just so ridiculous.
We had Lopez and Valentina talking, whatever. It's like, yeah, just like, oh, I like your style and all this crap. Then we had Roxanne and Lyra Valkyrie versus Toxic Attraction. Cora Jade came out.
Of course.
We got the Pop Rocks on Gigi.
After she ate a boot by JC Jane.
By Jane, yeah. And Roxanne, Roxanne got the pin. So I mean, I don't know. That seems weird to me. Like,
yeah, I don't like 2-on-1 the people. I never like handicap matches where the person loses unless it's ridiculous. Like 2 local jobbers versus Omos. I'm like, okay, well,
right.
But like Roxanne Perez is like still very like Toxic Attraction was the best tag team forever on NXT.
Right.
For them, and I don't like who leaves in the middle of a tag team match. I was like, I hate that because I'm like, did you forget what you were there for? You're like, you hate this person so much, you leave that person alone in the ring. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But again, you need that heat because otherwise it is a 2-on-1 handicap match for the belt at Vengeance Day. So you have to keep teasing this. It's just weird.
Yeah, I don't know. That was pretty much it for NXT. SmackDown, we had Charlotte coming out talking and blah blah, and then Sonya came out and she's like, oh, you're arrogant, and Charlotte's like, you're arrogant, and you're a star, and like Sonya's like, you're a star, and then Adam Pearce came out, who's your favorite, and then Sonya gave the big cheap shot. I mean, I really like Sonya Deville, man. I don't know. I'd like to see her do more. She's like jobber, like it's like jobber status, man. Like,
well, there's I think I'm starting to realize there's a reason for that, and I realized that watching Raw. But as far as this goes, it's just to me very unappealing. You're talking about Charlotte Flair, who they keep reminding us is a 14-time women's champion, against Sonya Deville, who is a 0-time women's champion. She's a 0-time any champion, as far as I remember, as far as I know. So I have zero interest in this feud. Charlotte is going to squash her. They can get away with this sort of match in the Rumble because people will be paying for the Rumble.
Right.
So this is why you can have lower tier guys challenging for belts and not hurt the buy rate. But as far as interest in this goes, I have like, it was just where like Sonya's pissed off and she wants to challenge for the belt. She already lost to Charlotte clean on television.
Right.
So what's she bringing to the Rumble that's going to intrigue me to watch this?
Yeah, they're not using her very well.
No.
We had another Lacey Evans.
She used the Cobra Clutch on a random person.
And then, it's like, we're going to break your spirit. And it's like Operation Cobra Clutch. I'm like, okay. I'm pumped. We'll see how it goes. Like, SmackDown was brutal. Like, there was nothing.
Yeah,
Shayna talked, like, there's Raquel and Shayna, like, people talking about the Rumble, and I'm gonna win and all that. And that was it. Like, SmackDown was nothing.
There was nothing. There was literally like they did nothing. Like Lacey Evans is the all-time champion in WWE for the longest run to a appearance ever. And it's not like they're introducing her for the first time. This is like the third character change for her. So now I'm just like, can just have her show up? Like, I don't get it. Like,
yeah, I think they should have just done the one thing, back to basics. Yeah. That's it. And then have her show up and just kick the shit out of some people.
Yeah. And
be like, there, now I'm back to basics. I'm just going to be military Lacey and that's it. I like the idea of using the Cobra Clutch. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the thing with people and Lacey Evans actually hasn't had that many angles. She only has 2 angles. She was the Southern Belle, which is done, and now she's a military person. But they keep sort of retooling the military angle. It's like, okay, so you're going to wear pink clothing and stuff, which I think she looked good. But then it's like, well, that's kind of silly. I agree. It is kind of silly. It doesn't make you very, like, intimidating. She should just wear Sergeant Slaughter's just a female version of Slaughter's black. Just have the black, like, like black bra or whatever,
halter top or whatever.
halter top or whatever, and then the green, not like the big, like, you know, sleeker green military fatigues, like not like the how she had like the big puffy version.
Yeah.
Don't have the big puffy, and then just have her hair in a ponytail like Sonya Blade. She
Yep.
should look like Sonya Blade. Come out with the blonde ponytail. That's it. Blonde ponytail, the black halter top, like tight. Have like, you know, military and boot. Have the military boots and have the fatigues. That's it.
Yep.
Easy. Do the whistle if you want to. If you want to, you know, blow the whistle and, you know, maybe carry the flag or something or whatever. You want to be a bit more. That's it. Just have a female
actually
slaughter.
Come to the ring with the stick. Remember how Sergeant
Yes.
stick? And she should use it.
And she should use it. Yeah. That's it. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And it works because she was military, so it's not like super. It's not unbelievable.
Nope. I don't get.
I will buy a Lacey Evans shirt when they do that. Okay, so Raw 30th. We could talk, since there wasn't much going on, we could talk a little bit more in depth about all of Raw. We'll do the women's stuff first.
Okay.
I mean, Bayley versus Becky, like, what the shit, man?
So I thought was someone injured? Was that why they did this?
I don't know. I was thinking that too, because this was shitty.
I thought Bayley might be injured, but then she climbed the top of the ring.
She looked fine.
She's injured. That's kind of weird. I mean, I don't really get, like, are you guys now realizing that damage control isn't that scary or intimidating or anything, and you decided to do something about that? Like, I was mystified. I'm like, is Becky hurt again? What the hell? It was just
so
weird.
Let's take a look here. We've got I'll share an article for you. Hold on. I found something. Okay. Reason Becky Lynch versus Bayley was scrapped.
Okay.
Okay, so I can read this, but I'm a terrible reader, but I'll read it anyway. The issues between Bayley and Becky Lynch have escalated in recent weeks, with Lynch finally challenging her fellow 4-horsewoman to a steel cage match on 30th anniversary of Raw. With many legends of WWE Hall of Famers in attendance, the fans in Philadelphia were set for a huge match with both women entering the cage. However, rather than Bayley, they had her damage. Okay, this is all crap. So how it was reported that an audible was called.
Yeah, they do what's known as an audible. That's like a football term, but it's also a wrestling term. So they call an audible if they're saying, "Hey, we can't do this." Like, it's a last minute change. They call it an audible.
Okay, so Bayley had their time cut. Their report adds that the cage match entrances were meant to run for 2 segments, but with the trial of Sami Zayn running long, WWE had to claw back time elsewhere throughout the show. With Becky and Bayley faced the cage match, they only have lasted a couple of minutes. They choose the angle. Well, okay.
So if you remember, the original thing was supposed to be not the trial of Sami Zayn, but the tribal chief recognition, how the ceremony where they were all supposed to recognize, like they were supposed to have all of the bloodline show up.
Right.
And everyone was going crazy because they thought that included The Rock. Because for the longest time they have been saying WWE really wants The Rock versus Reigns at WrestleMania, which is not happening. It's not happening unless something shocking happens. It's not happening. Anyhow, so they were going to do that, and then they couldn't get all of the bloodline in for the ceremony, and most importantly, they couldn't get Rikishi in. You need Rikishi. He's Jay and Jimmy's father, and Solo Sikoa's.
So why couldn't they get him?
Someone was sick. They just weren't able to come for whatever reason. So they did the trial of Sami Zayn. Trial of Sami Zayn obviously went longer than what that ceremony would have done. So they cut time, and unfortunately, and possibly criminally, they chose the steel cage match.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
It is.
Because that was the most unique match of that night.
Well, that people want to see that, and then you basically like people paid because not saying that that's the only reason they paid, but people were looking forward to that, and you gave them nothing. Like when I watched it, I was like, really? That's it? Like, why even advertise that if you're not going to deliver? That's a I want a refund scenario to me.
Oh, for me, for sure. That was the biggest thing I was looking forward to. And not only that, I gotta say Bailey is genius. She played this off on Twitter hilariously. She's like, "Oh, you all thought there was gonna be a match? Hey, well, too bad for you, haha." And she's like laughing at everybody and going like, "Screw you." Yeah. I'm like, okay, that's her playing off that to make it seem funny. Like, yeah, I didn't need a match. My girls just beat her up and that's it. So she's playing into the character with that. That's great. But in reality, we knew they were supposed to be like, I knew something was wrong. I thought maybe Becky was injured.
To be honest with you.
I thought maybe Becky was injured again. Yeah. I was like, oh no, was she injured or something? Because like that's a shit. And they bring the cage down. All this. It's like, why'd they do that? They should just had Bailey attack her from behind in the back then, and then don't even put the cage down because it was such a tease. The cage comes down, they come in, and they lock him in. You know, I do like Adam Pearce hitting that guy in the head with the chain cutter though. Like he's like, boom, and that guy looked like he got hit in the head. I've had owning an escape room. There's going to be a time where some patron of yours locks their hands in a thing and you've got to cut that lock or whatever. It is hard. If that is a thick chain, people just go in movies go like, psh.
Yeah,
no. That is
happens.
No.
I've
had to be like, like it's like all my strength or whatever. It's like, it's like I got to tell you, nobody else could do it. Like I had to come in and do it. It's like it's hard. Anyways, yeah, so I was bullshit. Okay, so we'll get to the other stuff in a second. Then Charlotte came out with her dad, 14-time champion, Bianca came out. It's my show. I mean, are they friends now? I guess. I don't know. Sonya came out. I think Sonya Deville's pretty funny in her comments. Actually, I think she's really good with her comments. Like, okay, so that was nothing. We had Bianca versus Sonya. I mean, okay, KOD, like that's it, right? Alexa's talking. I mean, okay. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like this Raw 30th, it was kind of rubbish. Like
for the women, yes.
For the women, yeah. For the women, I like Sami Zayn, but I didn't realize that was going to eat up all this time. And TX came out.
They were kind of funny. It was weird to see Kurt Angle with them because it's kind of like, why are they there? But they were funny where like Imperium showed up and they're like looking who's going to fight him. And Triple H is like, well, I'm retired. I'm not me.
Yeah, my legs hurt. I got a bad
Shawn
back.
Michaels like, I'm too old. And Road Dogg's like, well, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, that's fine. But like, that just ate up time. And then Imperium, like what was that match about?
Yeah, like, that was a nothing match. Like Seth Rollins, really, that's how you're going to use him on Raw 30. Like insert him in the US match. But like going back to the women for a second. So yeah, like I was fine with Charlotte and Bianca talking. You know, Bianca's like, it's my show. Charlotte's like, oh, like, all right, whatever. But then Sonya Deville came in, and there's just a match, and I'm like, okay, Sonya Deville. So there was botches all over the place in this match. And watching this, I'm realizing that Sonya Deville maybe isn't as polished as I thought she was, and maybe that's part of the reason why. Like there was this one spot where Bianca had her in the corner, and you could literally see her talking to her.
Yeah.
In her ear. She whipped her across, and then she ran up behind her, and literally Sonya slept walk into Bianca's arms. Like she literally sauntered into Bianca's arms. I was like, really? That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. And then I don't know what the hell happened on the ring apron. So Sonya was on the floor. Bianca was on the ring apron. She was turned around, and you could literally see her be like, no, like, come here. She didn't say it, but she was literally like pointing with her eyes and stuff. Where
Yeah,
she was.
I noticed that one immediately. That's the one I noticed. I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it was
like
bad.
Time.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bianca, here's what you should do. You should. It's like, what? What's going on here?
Like, didn't you guys practice this? I don't understand. Like, didn't you guys talk this over? Because Sonya was, I guess, primed for Bianca to do like a somersault off the apron onto the floor on her, and Bianca's like, no, that shit ain't happening. I got a somersault over you, and then we're going to do stuff. And I'm like,
yeah, and she just like landed, and it looked pointless.
It was just
like,
jumped. Really, really awkward. And then like Bianca does the move where she's got her up in the suplex, and she does the marching thing, and she drops. Right. For whatever reason, Sonya's legs were like bent back farther than they should have been.
Yeah, it's like the balance is all wonky.
Yeah, and she literally landed on her legs first. It looked very, very like horrible.
It's hard to, because if you're holding up someone like that, they have to be as straight as possible, because
and Sonya's very straight.
Yeah, it's like you have to have like a full line of person, right? Otherwise, like you tilt.
You tilt.
Dropped her. It was like, and it's like this.
Yeah.
It's like that's not a move. That's you landed. Yeah. It would have been cool if she had landed and like maybe spun around or something, like, you know, like turn it into some sort of.
But I did,
like,
but
it was like she took it as a hit, but it's like, yeah, but you landed okay. Like I don't.
Yeah, it was just Hogan, a bad match. The KOD came out of nowhere. I think it was just
they're just like
the ref is just like, you know what, just
end this thing.
And she just grabbed her and KO'd her. I'm like, you could have done that at any point. Like there was no chain of events or reversals or something that led to, oh my God, KO'd out of nowhere. Like there was nothing.
Yeah, she just went and grabbed her.
Yeah, she just picked her up, grabbed her, and KO'd her. I'm like, you could have literally done that at the opening. Like, it was just a very wonky, awkward match, and it didn't come off good at all. And now you have Sonya Deville going into Royal Rumble, having lost Queen on television to
17 times. Yeah, she's lost Clean on. Yeah, she is Mrs. Clean. Like it's like, if you need a clean win, challenge me.
I literally don't know what Triple H, because he's obviously doing it, because he said, why does everyone look at me? The booking's not that easy. I'm like, well, should be better than this, but okay.
Yeah, that was a fail. And then like Hogan's mic was not working. I'm like, oh man, here I know,
because people came, like he came out, as soon as Real American hit, people were dying.
Yeah, me too. I was like, yes. And then I was like, this is exactly how tonight's gonna go. It's like, yeah, and then you're like, oh, this isn't that good.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, DX comes out, I was like, yes. And then it's like, oh, they're gonna, you know, here comes Imperium. I'm like, yeah, okay. I like I think maybe Bobby Lashley was the only legit thing that happened, like with Brock Lesnar coming out.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar. Well, yeah, I mean, I was shocked. I mean, I love Teddy Long. I legit love Teddy Long. I always like Teddy Long. When he was the GM, I thought he was terrific.
Yeah.
But when his music hit and people died, I'm like, okay, everyone loves Teddy Long now? Like everyone. My favorite moment of the entire show, and I laughed my ass off when this happened. I could not stop laughing. Okay, LA Knight comes in, blah, 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 Bray Wyatt. Who's going to challenge me? The gongs hit. People, literally, there was a mass depantsing in the audience, right? Everyone's, oh! And then what was it? And then they went to the American Badass music, and everyone went, oh.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the entire night was that for me. It's like Hulk Hogan's music. Yeah, and then, oh, you can't hear him. Oh. And then it's like, okay, here comes DX. Oh, it's Imperium. Oh, I don't care. It's like, oh, it's Bray Wyatt. Oh, I don't care. Oh my God, it's The Undertaker. Oh, it's American Badass. I don't care about the American Badass.
I love the Undertaker. First of all, it took him 75 hours to drive the bike out. I was like, did it break down? What happened? Like, because I know he's driving the bike. He got in the ring and he just literally wandered around the ring, and LA Knight left, and then he ran into Bray Wyatt in the dark.
Hey, Chris, how's it going, dude?
So he ran around and he ran into Bray Wyatt in the dark, and then he ran back to the ring. I thought Undertaker would choke slam him, and they were literally chanting Underbiker.
Right.
Like, he runs into the ring. Undertaker grabs him because that's evidently all he can do now with all the injuries he's had.
He's had a lot of injuries, that poor fellow.
Yeah, and literally he hands him to Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt hits Sister Abigail. Undertaker's leaving the ring. He turns and whispers to Bray Wyatt, like, what's he saying? I'm like, probably, have you paid your water bill?
Is your refrigerator running?
And then he just leaves. I was crying with laughter through that entire thing because I'm like, what is this? But as soon as the crowd went, oh, when it was the Underbiker, I died.
Yeah,
I did not stop laughing. I loved the poker match backstage. IRS took all the money.
IRS taking the money was funny. But why are they doing these poker matches now as though this is a thing? It's like,
yeah, I know.
Do wrestlers play poker in between matches? Poker. Like, I don't know. I'm just like, I think I was just sour after the Becky Bayley match, which I was actually like kind of pumped up for.
Yeah.
And I don't mind if that would have been the end of the match, but I would have liked to have seen a match.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been interesting to have Bayley go out to open it, and then instead she doesn't open it to get out, she opens it to let them in and then lock it in, but after a match.
Yeah,
like have the match go for a while like a normal match, who's gonna get out, and then Bayley just barely gets out, but she doesn't get out, she lets them in, and then you could have the same ending where they just beat the crap out of Becky, and that makes Bayley more evil and knows she couldn't do it without her friends and all that. I don't know.
I did like that Alundra Blaze was backstage
and
made her keep that belt because she threw it in the garbage, and now they're like, every time you show up, you have to have the belt with you now because you threw it in the garbage those years ago. I don't know. Like, I like everyone has a price, Double C. That is
for the $1 million man.
But like, I did enjoy seeing the older wrestlers and stuff.
Right.
It was just, it reminded me of like, oh yeah, stuff isn't as good these days. It was disappointing for a Raw 30th.
Yeah, come on. I do like seeing the older guys come on for sure, but I just felt that they're just there to be there. It's like TX, yeah. It's like, but you guys are just here. Like, I don't, and I've seen you before, and like Michaels is around and Triple H is around. It's not that, like Hulk Hogan coming out, I was like, yeah, it's Hulk Hogan. And then nothing really happened. And then Ric Flair came out with Charlotte. It's like, okay. It's like, we've seen Charlotte 100 times. It's like, I love Charlotte and I like seeing her, but like, it's like, okay, I've already seen her. Like, I don't know.
They should have done more. I think I agree. It was just, if you watch other anniversary shows, it seems to have been a bit better. I was hoping Kane was going to come out of the dark, and
that'd be cool.
But it was
the best thing was Sami Zayn teaming up. That was the best. That was me too. That was the best thing that happened in the entire show, where the guy's injured and he's like, no, let me go in, and I'm like, oh, that's good. And like I thought that like this was Judgment Day. Judgment Day was better in this too because I felt like more urgency, like because now it's like the two factions against each other. So I was like, this is cool.
Just a very haphazard, like Miz is yelling. The Kid Rock theme. I am. Yeah, it was. It was just Double C. I was laughing at the crowd's reaction because they thought they were getting Dead Man Undertaker, and then it took them like, did they lose the bike? Like, where is this guy? I don't know. It was an odd thing. Like they sort of did it as a Undertaker has passed the torch to Bray Wyatt, but Bray Wyatt has to wrestle for him to have anything passed to him.
Why is Bray Wyatt? Okay, so if Lacey Evans is the queen of the like
Slow
not
burn.
or slow burn, but like it's like these montages. Like what's going on with Bray Wyatt? That guy comes out and bores everyone like every week, and it's like, are you going to wrestle? It's like if you are injured and you can't wrestle yet, then don't come on yet. I like 1 or 2 week pump ups. That's it. I don't want like
3-month pump ups.
Yeah, it's like Bray Wyatt. It's like you've done nothing. It's like,
well, it was just like when Alexa Bliss was in the back doing the interview, she's staring into the mirror. I just kept looking at the plug next to her because I'm like, why are they doing this? Literally, like it literally looks like they grabbed a utility closet that was not being used,
right?
Put her in front of it and said, "Here, tell Bianca she sucks and you're going to destroy her." Like, and then she turned and looked, and then she turned and looked at the mirror again. I'm like, yeah.
I don't get what's happening.
Yeah,
it's like
I was weirded out. Other than the NXT stuff, which I pretty much enjoyed all the way through.
Yeah.
Except for a couple of things here and there which we discussed. The main roster stuff, Raw and SmackDown, was baffling. It was just really, really baffling what I was watching.
There's nothing going on with Ronda.
Everything. Like Ronda has gone underground or something. Like we don't see people anymore. And when we see them, like Maxine Dupree was standing next to Emma a couple of weeks or a week ago. She's like as tall as Raquel almost.
She's like, tall.
Why? Okay, so she should be. She may be a wrestler. She's training or something. She should be out there. No, she comes out with maximum male models on a SmackDown where there's not one female match.
Right.
And why? Because we're having. Yeah. It's just.
Well, yeah. The Sami Zayn
awesome.
Teaming up or taking the place of I don't know if it's Jimmy or Jey Uso. I couldn't tell.
It was Jimmy.
It was Jimmy, and then fighting the Judgment Day. That was the best thing.
Yeah, and it was great because Rhea Ripley was like for once Rhea Ripley's interference didn't cause the Judgment Day to win,
right?
Which was nice. But I was just completely baffled by this entire SmackDown Raw. Like nothing was accomplished. Like. No one is getting used other than like Sonya Deville. They've unearthed her again. She's on both shows. I'm like I don't get it.
Yeah, that Sami Zayn thing was the only thing that was like something where I was like, okay, I'm gonna pay attention to this. Although I kind of missed why he needed a trial. Like he's like, oh, we have to do a trial. Why? Because you've been pretty loyal. Like I'm
weirded out by 90% of what I see nowadays because it's just like we need someone to come out to fight Imperium. Okay, randomly Seth Rollins. Why? Because stuff happens, as Simon Miller says. And then he needs a partner. Okay, the Street Profits will come out. I'm like, remember how we always bitched and complained when Vince was running things, how things just randomly would happen and then be dropped and then things. And then we're like, oh, Triple H is running things. It won't happen. I randomly had Seth Rollins and the Street Profits teaming up against Imperium.
I literally thought that maybe Vince wrote this one or like did the booking on this one because I'm like, this is like very weird. And I was like thinking, this is back to weirdness again. It's like, why is this so weird?
It's just
I just don't know. And I wasn't that excited. Like, guys coming out to talk is good if it leads to something, but guys coming out to talk and then they just leave. It's like, well, what was that all about? Like,
yeah, and literally, if you just want to run the hot hand, if you will, of the females, okay, you had Liv Morgan versus Raquel Rodriguez, and she lost. So this SmackDown, you have Liv, and they're like, being one-on-one on the Royal Rumble is one thing, but taking on someone who's twice your size is another. And you could have it being like, let me look at random women here. Like you could have like Emma and Maxine Dupree who were there. They're like, listen, we told you were dumb for being number one in the Women's Royal Rumble, and then you go and slap Raquel Rodriguez, who's twice your size. That's pretty dumb. And you could have Liv saying, you know what else is dumb? Taking on both you bitches in the next match. But I'm going to do it. And she takes on Maxine Dupree and Emma and loses. I would have her lose.
Yep.
But she would be laughing in the ring. And it would be like, this woman is unhinged. What is she capable of doing?
Yeah, I like the idea that she's just crazy.
Yeah, like, just run with that. Like, you started that, and then Liv Morgan was busy. She was MIA on the next SmackDown. Like, where is this woman? You just had her slap Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel Rodriguez is excited for the Royal Rumble. That's awesome. Who isn't excited for the Royal Rumble? Have you ever seen anyone in the Royal Rumble being like, I don't want to enter. I don't want to be here. I don't want a chance at the championship. I don't want a chance in the biggest match of the year.
Right.
Rumble is the match. I think it's the most anticipated match of the year.
I always loved Royal Rumble. My favorite is the Ric Flair one where he was number 2 or whatever he was, or 3. Maybe he was number 3 and he won. And then like Bobby the Brain Heenan was having an aneurysm during that. They said, no, oh my God, no, Flair, no, oh my God, no. And then he was like Roddy Piper at one point or something saved. I think it was in this match when he said this, but he's like, he saved Ric Flair from being eliminated. He's like, oh my God, Piper, you're the best. It's not a skirt. It's a kilt. It's a kilt. He's like, oh my God, thank God for Roddy Piper. And you're like, what? This man's losing his mind. And then like Roddy Piper, and then later tries to eliminate Ric Flair. He's like, I knew it. You know, it's a skirt. It's a skirt. and I'm like, that was like, they really played that up, and like Rumble can do that because having the numbering system really plays a cool part because you never know who's going to come in, and there's going to be surprises. People are saying Nia Jax might come on. Like, I don't know, but like, yeah, it's really cool.
It's just weird. If you remember, it's like people would be pumped up and they're like, who's out next? And it's like Bushwhacker Luke. He's not winning. My favorite is, I don't know if it was Luke or Butch, but one of them went in there. He's like, ah, and he got thrown out and he went, ah, like, oh, what the
yeah.
My favorite elimination last year was Ivory. Ivory went in and she was on the mic. She's like, oh, you know, blah, blah, blah. And threw her out and she still had the mic.
I only buy WrestleManias.
Yeah.
But if I were to buy anything else, it would be the Rumbles.
Yeah.
I do buy every WrestleMania on Blu-ray or DVD up until Blu-ray came out. But if I had to buy another one, it would be the Rumbles because I think they are a lot of fun. I do like where like, oh, who's going to come out next? I love eliminations immediately. Ivory was really funny. And then she continued talking. This is a disgrace, and it's like you're eliminated. Go home. So that'll be a lot of fun. And the Rumble will be 2 because they'll do the Women's Rumble and the Men's Rumble, right? That'll be an awesome. Is it? Ooh, sorry, that came up on me fast. Is there going to be? So there's going to be the 2 Rumbles, and there's usually not a lot of matches, right? It's like 4 matches and 2 Rumbles. Yeah, because the Rumble itself is pretty long.
The Rumble is usually around an hour each, I think.
Yeah. So we liked to say the Bloodline thing was the best for me. I wasn't a fan of the Taker stuff. I like seeing DX, but it didn't lead to much for me. So I'm like kind of like the thing is for me, like I was really pumped for Bayley versus Becky, and that just didn't happen. So I was like, the Sami Zayn thing was the highlight. Seems like everyone's on. I think everyone's on board with that, with Sami Zayn and Blood. I mean, that guy. I texted you while it was on, and I was like, this guy is so over with the fans. It's incredible. Like you know what? I don't know what it's like. Like it's just that they really that storyline's just working for him because
I
you
think
feel for him so much. You're like, yeah, let him be in it. Like, what's your problem? And it's the point now, even when, and Jimmy and Jay are like, well, even they're with him now. Like, what's your problem? Like, why is Roman being so weird? And I
I
think
think
Roman himself must be thinking, I'm getting overshadowed here by this entire storyline.
oh he
Like,
is, and I think that's
he,
becoming part of the storyline is how he's getting overshadowed.
yeah,
But I think the thing with Sami Zayn that if he was El Jericho or El Generico when he was in Luchador Underground,
mm,
or he was the underdog from the underground. He's always been best in the underground role. He did this sort of I'm crazy conspiracy theory thing, and it didn't really amount to much. His best thing is like if he's the underdog, and if everyone remembers, this whole thing started with him being the sleazy tattletale to the bloodline who thought he was in with them when he wasn't, but he
yeah,
kept and he kept in, I think the people that admire about Sammy is he's so enthusiastic for the bloodline when he obviously has no place in it,
right.
and he keeps trying. He keeps trying. He's loyal, no
Yeah.
matter what. Like things are happening, he turned on his his real life best friend, the guy who was the best man at his wedding. He turned on Kevin Owens. Like he's in. He's like and it got to a point where like Roman Reigns has diverted from his, mafia chieftain character into whatever this is.
Roman Reigns is very funny to me as well. It's like Paul Heyman
Paul Heyman
is so funny to
having
me.
the Hawaiian wow around him is because he's wearing a suit and he's got the whole, like
Yeah,
the tropical
yeah, whatever it's called.
necklace. Wow, whatever they
No, I
call
know
it.
it. I'll remember the name eventually.
And I'm like, this is just so bizarre. Like, why does he,
Yes, my tribal chief.
yeah,
It's like wise man. Yes, my tribal. Like it's just like it's so. It's like is this wrestling? Like what is this? Like
yeah,
I don't. It's just so funny.
it's so funny. And like, if you go online now, you can see that the Bloodline guys are constantly breaking character because they're just laughing at all this because it's so ridiculous and over the top. Like even Solo Sikoa, who is usually pretty good about keep staying in character,
Yeah,
even he's like popped a smile in that during the
I've seen
semis
it.
because it's just like so funny.
And the Usi, you're not very Usi or
Yeah,
whatever,
you're
which
not
is
very
super
Uzi.
funny. Women's Rumble, Rhea Ripley winning. For men's Rumble, I got Cody Rhodes. Yeah, Cody Rhodes is winning. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
Rhea Ripley's winning too. I agree with both. I agree with Joe on both. Belair will be retaining her title against Bliss.
so is that going to be our? Because should that be our predictions then? Is that
I don't see any deviation from what Joe's saying.
we've got what have we got? We've got one Smack. We've got NXT doesn't play a part in it, so we've got one SmackDown left, or
yeah, and then a SmackDown.
one SmackDown left, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I
nothing's
agree.
going to change by
Rhea
that.
Ripley. It's going to be Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes is guaranteed. Rhea Ripley.
No,
yeah, I guess so. It's good to be her. Yeah.
I'm with Joe 100% that it's going to be Rhea and Bianca at Rumble at WrestleMania.
And then Rhea Ripley wins, or
if anyone's going to take it off, it's going to be Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, and then Cody Rhodes versus this Kevin Owens thing. I really like Kevin Owens a lot. Like him, he is very over. Could he win? I don't understand how. Maybe somebody can explain this, or Steve, maybe you can explain because I don't know how this works. Let's say, so Rumble is Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, right? If Kevin Owens wins, does he take both belts or one?
I don't know.
Joe or Double C or whoever's, if there's anyone in there, I don't understand how that works. Like, is one belt on the line or two belts on the line?
Let me just double check.
Yeah, see if you can find that. I don't understand how it works. Like, because Becky had two belts, but then she would lose them individually. I don't think she lost two belts at once, right?
So the match is for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship.
So that's both, right? Because one is the heavyweight championship.
One is the WWE Championship, and one is the Universal Championship.
Oh, so it's only for the Universal.
Is that
so? But see, undisputed. That sounds like it's both.
Yeah. Term refers to a wrestler. Okay, so in the American Professional Wrestling Promotion, WWE, the term refers to the wrestler who holds and defends both championships together, although both titles retain their individual lineages. I would say he'd be champ of both.
Both belts on the line, Double C is saying.
Yeah, I agree.
So then Kevin Owens won't win that. I don't think. I don't see Kevin Owens breaking that.
Here's what I honestly think is going to happen. He's going to lose one belt at Elimination Chamber, and I honestly think it's going to be Seth Rollins who wins it, and it's going to be Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania
for one of the belts.
One of the belts.
And Roman Reigns will retain the other belt.
Correct.
Okay. Joe is saying everyone knows Roman's going to retain against Owens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bloodline turns on
That's the question I'm asking. So there's only 3 things that could happen. The most unlikely one is Sammy botches it and Reigns loses the belt. What they could do, I thought of is what they could do is Owens wins both belts, Sammy botches it, and then what happens is that the next Raw or whatever, they're like, oh, Paul Heyman changed something at the last minute, so it was only one of the belts. Right? So then Roman keeps the second belt to take on Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, while Kevin Owens has the other belt and takes on Sami Zayn for the belt at WrestleMania as a second championship belt. Right? That's something I thought they could do. What is most likely going to happen is Roman retains. However, Sammy botches it and Roman almost loses.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
He almost loses, but Roman wins, and then they turn on Sammy, and then he joins up with Kevin Owens or whatever.
See, the thing that makes the most sense for WrestleMania is Owens and Sammy versus the Usos for the undisputed tag team championship.
And then they win that.
Right.
And the bloodline will be this. I mean, this storyline has really run a long time.
I think it's run its course a bit, and I think Cody Rhodes, there's no way Cody Rhodes walks out of WrestleMania not being champion, no matter who's wrestling.
All right, so let's see. So you heard Roman Cody night 1. Roman also losing the other belt at night 2 against Rock, which is the rumor. Yeah, they really want the Rock to come in, but how old is Rock? I don't think he can. I don't know. He seems
Rock
like he's out of it.
This year.
How old was John Cena?
He's our age.
That's 6-year difference.
Yeah.
Cena can't do too many more either.
He's near the end.
Yeah, he's done.
I mean,
I don't think Rock can do it, man.
I don't think Rock wins the belt because then he has to defend the belt.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the time to do that.
Yeah, when is that going to happen? Because
I honestly, the problem is that I don't know. To me, Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania for the belt makes sense based off the fact that Seth Rollins injured Cody Rhodes. Like, he attacked him after he left to have surgery. And he attacked him on that Raw. So do they forget that or don't they? Because now Rollins is a face, obviously. He came out to help DX. I don't know. Like, I don't know what they do. To me, I don't have Reigns wrestle twice. So he defends both belts against Cody, or he drops a belt, and Seth Rollins is the one who makes the most sense. Because you keep having Seth Rollins not regain the U.S. Championship for a reason. You don't do it just because. So.
Yeah, so if Roman loses, so Roman's retaining both belts for sure. Like that's pretty much going to happen.
Yeah.
Then he's going to lose both belts to Cody or one belt.
I say possibly both. The sort of thing is the Elimination Chamber.
Right.
Because if you have a 6-man Elimination Chamber with the belt on the line, it's harder to retain. I don't know many champions who walked into the Elimination Chamber and retained. So I'm not sure what they do. The only thing I've heard is the WWE more than ever is gearing towards Roman losing one of the belts at least. I don't know when, and I don't know if it's at WrestleMania. I don't know if it's at Elimination Chamber. He could lose both belts. If he loses both belts to Cody Rhodes, that would be fine by me.
Right. And then what does Roman Reigns do after that? It just seems like it's such a weird thing. Like with him without those belts and that bloodline, it's so weird. It's like,
well, I think you have to have him go back after Cody and have a couple of matches. Like you have to have a WrestleMania Backlash or whatever.
Yeah, I don't like Seth Rollins has to be a heel. Cody Rhodes is a face. Like,
yeah, Cody's a face. I don't know. The problem is that Seth is so ridiculously over.
Yeah, he's over.
They've had face versus face matches before.
Yeah.
And Seth always is like a tweener at best, like with this current character. He is sort of more of a face, but like I think you can still have face versus face for the belt. Like that to me isn't a problem. They've done that before.
Yeah, I think that would be right.
Yeah. 100% could very well.
Cody Rhodes is going to win for sure. Look, Dusty Rhodes is one of my favorites of all time. They keep talking about this. They keep mentioning, oh, my dad, and I wanted to win the belt and all this crap. He has to.
Cody Rhodes, when he's healthy, Cody Rhodes is the most popular wrestler in that promotion.
He has to win. Like, because it's also disrespectful to use that as an angle to be like, oh yeah, it's for Dusty or whatever. It's like, no, you have to, like, he's gonna win. And Roman Reigns cannot go forever on this. It's like eventually
he'll drop a belt within the next after Rumble, he'll drop a belt for sure.
Yeah, this year he's dropping the belt.
Well, he's dropping both belts. I just don't know if it's the same guy or not.
I don't like having two belts with one person. Either just have one belt and be like, that's the heavyweight champion of both promotions.
Yeah.
Or have the two belts. But having them both with one guy, it's like, it's just problematic. Because then you get like, wait, what's on the line? And if he loses, do you pick one? Say, I'll give you the blue one because I like black better. Like, I don't like.
I honestly think that you should do that for the tag team, the heavyweight, and the women's. Have one belt for both shows.
For both shows, yeah.
And that's why I've always said you need a workhorse to be your champion, able to show up to both promote shows.
Right.
If you're not going to be a workhorse, that's cool, but you're not going to be champion.
Yeah. Or then just have the two belts, but then don't have one guy have both belts because then it's just weird.
Yeah, the brand split is again starting to blur a bit because who is Charlotte's competition on SmackDown? Like, she's champion. Who's going to challenge her?
Yeah.
No one. They don't have enough talent there. I can sort of see the mid-tier belts they're having two because you do have enough mid-tier guys to warrant two belts. But you're obviously saying we don't have enough top-tier guys because we've had Roman Reigns hold the belt for so long. So I'm like, just have one belt at the top then.
Right. Yeah,
Like
I don't know. It's
it's
yeah, you
up to
can't.
them, but like it's just it's apparent to me that, and there's tag teams, yeah, but like, is the Viking Raiders going to be a champions? Is Hit Row going to be champions? Is any of these guys really going to be champions? Maximum Male Models are they going to be
Right.
champs? No.
Yeah, those guys are lame.
I mean, Legado del Fantasma,
Are
maybe
cool.
they're probably the closest ones. I mean, I'm waiting for Gunther to drop the Intercontinental belt. He's had it forever.
He's the only guy that can have like his. I like Imperium. They look cool. I like this like serious approach. Like, oh, we're serious wrestlers,
Yeah.
and they are cool. Yeah, there's like who can beat them? Like, I mean, who would you give it? Like, I don't even know.
I mean, Braun Strowman, I thought was it,
Oh yeah,
and then he lost. I'm like, okay, so if the guy you literally call the monster among monsters can't beat this guy, Ricochet, get out of here. Like, there's no one else.
I don't know who else there is.
Not unless you drop a guy like Drew McIntyre, maybe, but he's. I don't get it. Like I'm confused with a lot of the direction of WWE, and I think they're waiting for the Rumble or something to sort things out. But I don't think they are. I think it's just they're still flying by the seat of their pants.
Right.
So
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. It's just weird.
yeah, we will. But
If Gunther, I know he does look like a James Bond villain.
yeah, and he even has the lackeys who look like henchmen.
I thought that too. I thought that right away. I was like, yes, this is it. Like he's a James Bond guy or whatever.
But I mean, if we're looking right now at the graphic, Lacey not around, Asuka's disappeared.
Yeah, she's changing, right? So
Damage Control they showed up to beat up someone. They had no match. Alexa was looking in the mirror the entire night.
Right.
Bianca wrestled a match. Charlotte got sucker punched. Liv was selling real estate. I have no idea. Ronda's on Twitch. And Raquel decided not to wrestle. She just decided to look in the camera and say she's really looking forward to the Royal Rumble. Becky got attacked by 3 women, and Bayley was one of these women. Like, that is the cumulation of these 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 women you have on this screen.
Now I'm gonna have to start putting all the icon for the stream has more NXT people. It's more like I gotta start putting all the NXT people on here.
You're going to have to because they're the only ones doing anything.
Yeah.
Like if you look, how many female matches were there on NXT?
Tons. It was like
3 at least.
Oh, well, I mean, but there's a lot of other stuff going on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bullet points to talk about. So we talked about 8 bullet points. Bullet points for SmackDown were 3. Bullet points for Raw was 2, 4. So combined, Raw and SmackDown was equal to just 1 2-hour. So in 1 2-hour NXT, there was just as many bullet points as in a 5-hour. That's crazy.
We're going to have to become the NXT stream because this is
right. I know that would be the best. I love Sergeant Slaughter.
Joe, if they do that, I will go out and buy a Sergeant Slaughter figure from Toys R Us.
Yeah.
I kid you not.
You'll have to order it from the comic shop because it won't be a Toys R Us. But yes, you can see Sergeant Slaughter right there. I love Sergeant Slaughter, but no, like Lacey Evans as Sergeant. I said it. She has to be a female Sergeant Slaughter. Same exact thing. Just have the halter top or whatever, and that's it. Ponytail hair, like she should look like Sonya Blade, is what I said, but and not the big super puffy pants. like slimmer fatigue, so she can like do kicks and stuff better, so it doesn't look so like.
You know what this would be a bit crappy, but you're not going to have a good match anyway.
Right.
At the Rumble, this is what I would do. I would have Charlotte come out. I would have Sonya come out. They'd get up, they're getting ready to do the lockup at the beginning of the match. Lacey's music hits. She marches down to the ring with Sergeant Slaughter. She gets in the ring. She salutes to Sonya. She salutes to Charlotte. She salutes to the referee. And then she gives a woman's right to Sonya, knocks her out. Charlotte's like, she like goes over and looks at Sonya. She's like, what? And then she puts Charlotte in the Cobra.
Yeah.
And Sergeant Slaughter comes in and he says, "Ask her, Megan. Ask her."
Yeah. They should, okay, so they should have the match. They could have the match, and then Sonya loses or whatever, and then Lacey comes in and gives her the Cobra Clutch to end, and it ends that way. Yeah. And it's like, and she just salutes. Yeah, I like the idea of saluting Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah,
and I like the idea that she comes in, like stands with her hands behind her back and waits.
Yeah,
and she's just standing there at attention. So she's standing at attention like this, right? And then Charlotte Flair's like, "What the hell's going on? I just won a match or whatever," and she's just standing at attention. And Sergeant Slaughter's like, and then she just turns. Boom! And then Cobra Clutch, what? It's like Cobra Clutch, and it's like she just keeps holding it. And it's like remember the Kurt Russell movie Soldier?
Didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see that?
No.
Oh no, dude, we gotta watch that. Oh my god, Kurt Russell's the damn best in that movie. Holy crap! Oh, dude, we gotta watch that for sure. We're gonna put that on the list. It's just soldiers that have like no emotion.
Right.
It's like they just follow order. Like there's a point where he's like cutting up food and he cuts his finger and he just continues. It's like but they're not extra human. Like they've been trained to not feel pain, no emotions, nothing. It's just like, and he's cutting salt. He continues cutting the food. It's like, you cut yourself. It's like, okay, like, and she just has no emotion. She just like destroys people, and like just destroys them. That'd be the best. As a fan of Sergeant Slaughter from the, yeah, me too. We all are, buddy Joe. We're all there with you.
Either we all go home or nobody goes home. Yeah.
Okay, listen, that movie is cheese, but Sergeant Slaughter is the damn best in that movie. Yeah. Look, Cobra Lost sucks. I don't know what to tell you. Cobra Lost shit.
It's cheesy.
Sergeant Slaughter's the best. I've got the toy. I wanted to buy the toy from the Valverse Sergeant Slaughter. I didn't get it. I find those to be a bit expensive, to be honest. I know that a lot of people support that toy line. That's great. I know Clobby's buddy, Retro Blasting Mike. Mike's a great guy. He supports that, and that's great. It's just too expensive for me to get it into Canada. I looked into it. It's just a lot. Hasbro released a more, kind of toy version, which was pretty expensive as well. So I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just really expensive. So I do have my, the little one. I don't know. I can't remember what, not the rubbery one, but like the smaller one. I have that one and I love that toy. I think it's great. Sergeant Slaughter is awesome. I would love to see him come back. For sure. He's around. He's involved. Like he's around in this stuff. He could easily come back. That'd be the best, man. That'd be so awesome. I love Lacey Evans anyways. So even if they just mimic the Slaughter thing, but having Slaughter with her would up her game, and that people would be like, okay, like make her a badass. Yeah. Like, I mean, the Southern Belle thing's okay. Like, obviously, I think she's like super attractive, but like it's just that's just like a tired gimmick. I want like her to be like, kick-ass military. That's what her thing is anyways. If you go on her post, it's like her working out and it's like her with her like Marine buddies and stuff. It's like, use that then. I mean, just use that. And I did like the pink outfit because I thought it looked cute, but like really that's bullshit. Just get the it's not good for the character. Yeah. So anyways. All right, guys. I think that's pretty much it. We got everything in. It's been a little over an hour. I think that's pretty good. So this Friday, The Punisher versus The Punisher Warzone. You're on for that. You're in that one, right, Steve? All right. So that'll be.
I went through the punishment of seeing both movies, so I better be on there.
Oh, dude, I went through well. Oh God. Well, we'll talk about it then. But man, Thomas Jane. But yeah, I never knew that Kevin Nash got stabbed in that scene for real. You know when he stabs the Russian?
Yeah.
That's a real knife stabbing him. He really stabbed him, and Kevin Nash continued filming.
Big Daddy, cool. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell you either. That's just like, oh, you legitimately are a badass. Like, oh, I got the perfect thing for that too. I haven't played this in a while.
You know, every place you go, there's always someone who thinks he's a badass, right?
One says, I suck a wrestling soldier. He's a no-nonsense, unemotional soldier getting replaced by younger. No, we gotta watch Soldier. It's Paul Anderson, so you know it's gonna be schlocky.
Yeah.
Paul W.S. Anderson. He had a big W.S. to make himself
Yeah.
sound.
You know, we should do a double bill with Paul W.S. Anderson movies because I've also never seen Event Horizon.
Oh my God, no! That's the best movie ever. Event Horizon. Oh, I saw it in the theater. That had the most jump scares in my life. I was like, whoa! It's like, I was like, oh my God! People were like, is there shocks? Is there electricity in the chairs? Like, no, there's 1,000 jump scares. That's because it was the first. Well, it was one of the very first early THX sound films that I had seen in the theater. And even in The Mouth of Madness,
yes,
that had a lot of jump scares. That was also THX, I think. The first one was when they knock on the window of the guy's cell. It's like, boom, boom, boom. I was like, holy crap. I'm like, I don't think that was supposed to be a jump scare. It's just the guy knocking and it scared me. I was like, oh, this movie's going to be awesome.
The worst non-meant for jump scare that was a jump scare, Signs.
Signs, dog, guaranteed. Signed, sealed, delivered. That's it. Yeah, sign. Well, I got jump scared on that because I don't actually. I'm at the point now where I don't actually react to jump scares. Like even if there is one, it's like
I got nailed once and smile.
Yeah. No. I'm not saying there aren't jump scares. I'll get a jump scare, but I won't physically move.
Oh, I physically move.
Oh yeah, no, I won't. Even if I get a jump scare, it's like I was like, oh, that was pretty good. It's like you didn't move. I'm like, I just don't move anymore. I don't react to it anymore. But it still kind of gets you. Yeah, smile. Okay, you jumped, so that's fair. But I don't jump anymore, and it's because of Event Horizon. There's 400 jumps, and I was like, yeah, I'm never jumping again. Like I've wasted it all on Event Horizon. I can't do it anymore. and then since that movie, I've never jumped it again.
I mean, the others, I almost kneed myself in the head. I'm so freaking hard.
No, I did. The others had a few good ones, but it was pretty good. Oh my God. Anyways, all right, guys. So yeah, we'll be doing that on Friday. So hopefully we'll see you there. Take it easy.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.